what the engine bay looks like without the radiator installed. There's those connectors for the transmission cooler lines. There's the condenser right here. That's ready to go. While we've got all this apart, we might as well go ahead and get this hose clamp off for this hose and go ahead and get the new hose ready to go off of the water pump for the lower radiator hose. So I'm just going to take a look over everything while I've got everything apart, check these pulleys, because man, it sure would be easier to change all this stuff out while I've got it apart. And everything looks okay, but I'm going to check it over real good. The fan clutch has, resistance in it, so the water pump feels good and tight. So yeah, we'll clean everything up in there a little bit. Got a little gunk down in there, and we'll go ahead and get ready to install the new radiator. I got the old radiator hose, this lower hose, off of the water pump right there, and that had the same kind of clamps that all the other water hoses had. But inside of this old hose was this spring, so I'm going to feed this new spring in. I think it's to help it keep from getting collapsed under a vacuum, but nonetheless I'm going to put that on there. And then I also noticed it's got this plastic braid on it that the new one does not. So what I'll do is go ahead and change this plastic braid over to go onto the new hose. And the other new hose, the upper hose, actually has this braid already on it, so, and no spring in that one, neither did the old hose. So that'll work good. Let's go ahead and do that and get this new hose installed onto the water pump right there. So get that around there. You can see I've got my new hose snaked in here for this lower radiator hose, and down inside of there I've got that spring. Again, don't know if we need that or not. The new one didn't come with it, but the old one had it in there, so I figured it wouldn't hurt. Went ahead and got a hose clamp put on here, and that's a 5/16 head, 8mm, something like that. Let's see if we can get this thing on here. Start with the back so I can kind of see the front there. Oh, I think I got it. Yeah, there we go. So now we can push it up on there. Oh, there it goes. I just saw it roll over. The plan is to get it all the way up to that lip right there, and I think we just got it. I'm going to loosen this hose clamp up just a little so I can get it up and over the little raised part there where the hose attached. There we go. Go ahead and start tightening this down here. Didn't go back with those spring clamps. I really like these worm gear style. There's some other styles too, aviation type clamps. If you've ever used those, I'd love to hear about them. See if you really like that style. If I could hold on to the ratchet. All right, so now we've got our hose, all the way down here and ready to go for the new radiator. So that was one thing that had to be done before the new radiator got installed in this area right here. Okay, well, you can see I've got the radiator down in the hole here. I've got the condenser repositioned kind of in front of it. Now what I need to do is go in, and those little hooks that the lower part of the condenser hooks into, they need to be opened up on the radiator. So let's see if I can show you that. Let's see here. Yeah, it's going to be way down right inside of there. So what I need to do is, I've got a little screwdriver here, and what I'm going to do is reach through the front of the grill. Let's see if I can show you that. So here's those little metal hooks I was telling you about. So they'll need to be opened up because they got smashed in while I was moving everything around, and the condenser actually clips into there, and that's it right there. So let me go do the other side too. All right, so the next thing we need to do, we've got these rubber blocks, and these go underneath of the radiator to space it and support it. they need to go back in these holes, and then the radiator needs to go down into that opening right there like that. So what I'll do is try to wiggle it and push it down from above, and there's one in each side, driver's side and passenger side. There we go. That's all down in there. That's where it needs to be. All right, so since we got the radiator installed and we went ahead and got the condenser set up, ready to go, we're going to attempt to get this fan shroud in there. I don't know how well that's going to go because I couldn't see any way of getting it down in there with the radiator, and everything attached. But we're just going to have to wiggle and jiggle and push and pull and move, and hopefully it'll go on in there. We'll see. Like that. Just pulling out on the radiator a little bit away from the engine bay. Yep. Made pretty good progress underneath of there, but now it looks like this little ear here on this side is getting caught up, and also this one here. Oh, and this one down here. Sometimes it helps to move that fan around a little bit too. You'll get a little bit different angle on something. Oh, we are so close now. There it goes. Okay. Yeah, that is really cool actually, because that's right where we need to be. The fan is installed, the radiator's installed, the condenser is still in its little clips, and the radiator is still down in its little rubber mounting thing. So right down in here you can see I've got this aluminum raised part, and I've clipped on this type of fastener right here. And what this is actually a 5/16 bolt, thread in the middle. I've got some hardware, and what I'll use is that hardware to attach this condenser, and then I'll also use these up here on this side of the radiator to mount the fan shroud to the radiator itself. And so that's what the actual factory uses here. You can see this right here. This happens to be a metric clamp, but nonetheless, this is an accepted anchoring type. This is just what I had was 5/16. So I'm going to get these installed all the way around. There's two in the front here of the radiator for the condenser, and then there's four in the back for this plastic fan shroud. Went ahead and got all those 5/16 bolts in all these areas here. There's two on this side, two on that side, and this is if you're putting this aluminum radiator in. And then over here, I replaced these bushings here that mount the radiator flange to the actual body. Well, that ended up getting the original bushings out of the old radiator, and these 10 millimeter really long bolts that are about that long, and they have a large washer on one end. So after we've got everything mounted up nice and tight and everything's ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and get these transmission cooler lines that I've got pushed back in there, and I need to fish out somehow, hooked up to these fittings that are not tight and probably need thread sealer on them. Yeah, that would have been bad. So I'm going to get some thread sealer and put on here and get these tightened down into the radiator itself. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, you can see here, hopefully you can see, but right below here I got the transmission cooler line hooked up, and that was I'm sorry, it's a 7/8 wrench. I think I might have used a 20 something millimeter before, but the 7/8 is definitely the right size. And what I did with these aluminum fittings is I used some sealant to get those in and tighten them up really good. So everything's done with the cooler lines, and that's the lower and the upper one. Both of them are 7/8. So those are in. And then over here, let me take you over here and show you what's going on. So over here turned out really nice. I went ahead and got this upper radiator hose. These hose clamps are tightened up and installed. You can see them underneath of there. But over here, you can see I went ahead and got this one installed and tightened up too. So these are number 24 hose clamps. There's 3 of those needed, and then one 36. And the 36 is the size that goes into the water pump right underneath of there. So that's the first one we hooked up before we even started putting the shroud in and the radiator in. So you can see I went ahead and got the crossbar here installed that connects these. It has the hood latch in it and stuff. So I went ahead and got that tucked in there, and I've got to get the screws put back into here. There's some over here, and those are just those 10 millimeters. And then down inside of here are some Torx bits, Torx screws that need to be tightened up too. So that's, way down in there. So all that down in there. So that's what I'm going to work on next. So now that we've got the cross member installed, we're going to go ahead and reach down in here, and there are 4 Torx head bolts that go down in here that go to this piece right here. Well, there's a metal piece attached to this, and then there's the base of the hood latch assembly is way down there. So let's go ahead and get those in there. And those are a T40. I'm sorry, a T30. And then to get down inside of there, I've got this T30 on the end of this extension for this 1/4 inch. And those will go straight down in there. Should be about a 18 inch or so, because I've got a 12 and a 6 hooked up there. So if you've got an 18, go for it. If you got the 12 and the 6 like I have, it seems to be working very well. All right, so there we go. We got those in. That's really nice. Now we don't need to open this up anymore, so we can go ahead and put these screws in the front here. And that'll be these plastic thread type screws with these 7 millimeter heads on here. And there's 4 of them up top. So there's going to be little tabs like this, and then there's 2 of them in the front also, right here and here. I'm sorry, 3 of them in the front. So that's how many we'll need. And then over here and over here, that's supposed to have a tab, which is missing on this one, but I'm going to put it back in there anyways. That would be another T30. All right, well, that's got everything tightened up here. And what we'll do now is go ahead and double check all of our hose clamps and our transmission fittings and stuff that we've got over here, down underneath of here. And we'll go ahead and start getting this radiator filled up. So that's super exciting. So let's go ahead, get the tools all cleaned up, and I'll be right back and we'll start filling this radiator up. Got this Rotella ELC here. I've got it mixed at 50-50 with distilled water, and I'm just putting it down here in the radiator. And what I did was try not to spill it everywhere. That's the first thing. Taking my time pouring it in, because it'll take it a minute to go through all the little parts of the radiator there. So I'm just going to fill this up. This is the 2nd gallon here of 50-50 mix, and I believe I'm getting pretty close to the end. So keep going here. I'll get back with you when I get it all filled up and everything in there. I went ahead and got about 2.5 gallons in there, and depending on what was left in the block, that sounds about right. So I'm going to go ahead and put the cap back on here, and we're going to fire up the Jeep and watch for any leaks. We're going to get some pressure on the system by checking the hoses. So I'm going to go ahead and back you up, and we are going to get ready to start this thing up. So I've got you backed up here, and you can see I'm going to be checking for pressure, squeezing this upper hose right here. You should start feeling it get a little warm, and then it'll start building pressure. So that's what I'm going to do, and that'll tell me that I've started to get get water all the way through the thermostat housing, through the thermostat, and then to start to return back to the radiator here at the top. And I'm checking for leaks while this thing is running. So I'm looking around these hoses here, and I'm checking over here, checking the transmission cooler lines that are over here, and obviously underneath too, to see if there's any water dripping or coolant dripping. So far so good. It's been a few minutes, so not quite building pressure yet, and obviously the air moving across the radiator is pretty cool right now too. It's a beautiful day, sunshiny, probably about 65, 68 degrees. So what a great day to be working on a vehicle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my cardboard over and put it back underneath of the Jeep. That way I can quickly see if there's any leaks or anything that might be, new, other than what I was doing when I was trying to fill it up. The temperature gauge says it's about 120, 150 degrees, which, like I said, I can start feeling it there. This is still cool to the touch. I'm going to walk over and check the heater core lines. They should be getting pretty warm first. They should bypass the actual thermostat housing and everything, so that should go through first. We've got about 210 degrees on here, and I'm starting to feel, some pressure here, which is good. That's what I wanted. I wanted a little pressure on this system, because the old system, this was leaking really bad right at the radiator joint where the plastic met the aluminum. I haven't quite gotten it up to full temperature yet, but it has definitely got some pressure on it now. So that's awesome. So yeah, the cooling system is actually holding pressure, and I'm looking underneath of the Jeep, and I'm not seeing any leaks at all. So everything we put in is nice and tight and is holding well. So I can start feeling some heat coming off the motor, through the fan. So that's great. So there you go. We got Frank, our 2001 Jeep Grand Cherokee, back together and cooling. So super excited about that. So I can't wait to get this thing on the road. It's cooled off here a little bit, so don't have any pressure in there anymore, which is good. And yeah, what more can I say? We got it together. This aluminum radiator looks like it's going to work amazing. So I'm super excited about that. So either way, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.